who was Walt Disney, right? Like really, like, and for most people don't realize Walt Disney was a 33-degree Freemason. So in order to be part of this Freemasonry, the real Freemasonry, you have to basically spit on a cross, denounce the Lord, and it's a satanic order. There's also secret societies, which all the presidents are part of, and there are people that don't believe this stuff actually. It's like, oh no, who would ever do that, or they're just doing it for fun. It's like, come on, people, like these people believe this.
Welcome back to the DC headquarters. This is episode 96 of the DC Talks podcast with the main man himself here, Mr. David Chinowie. How you doing, brother?
Good, buddy. I'm not calling you your nickname.
No, it's okay.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
So, well, we're going to get into this topic. We kind of we can tell we're free flowing this, right?
Free flowing. Like, we're just sharing our thoughts on it. But one of the key things that we've always saw and grew up with is a lot of like Disney movies and shows that every kid kind of comes in contact with, whether that's Mickey Mouse, the Aladdin, ballerina movies, whatever it is.
Well, yeah, Disney is probably one of the biggest conglomerates.
So, yeah,
they're huge.
They own everything now.
Well, they own a lot of news outlets too. So you got to remember, like, the news in the States they get is not real news. Let's be honest. I'm throwing it out there. So guys, we're talking about stuff too. You can fact check this. I don't care. Like, this is one of the ones we're just kind of going with what we've heard. Yeah, sharing our thoughts. And we're attacking Disney, the man, the myth, the legend, whatever you want to call them, and where we're seeing the world today. And I think a lot of it has to do with indoctrinating children. And I think where you got to see the origins, who Walt Disney was and how it's affected the business. There's nothing wholesome about Disney, including, I'm saying, owning the news media and putting forth their news wherever they want to be. There's no news out there. It's not news. It's all scripted, what they want you to do, fear mongering, propaganda. That's my opinion. From what I've seen before, I think the news has changed over since we've been alive, the last 40 years. It's no longer, it's no longer like presenting what events that happened and then you making your own opinion. They're telling you what they want you to think and we're manipulating you.
Yeah.
And I think Disney, since the beginning, has always been that. And it's because of the origins of who that MF was.
My philosophy and understanding what Disney is all about is it's based on sex and sexual perversion, right? When you look at different shows that you watch growing up that are Disney channels, part of the Disney Channel program, there's a lot of sexual programming that you're indoctrinated with as a child, right?
We talked about one of the pods. We talked about how the Lion King had the word sex, and then there was the one of the two mouses, and like there was always having there's the pornographic. Everything has looks like a penis, and they showed you like it's so sweet, it's subliminal, and that was done on purpose, right?
Yeah.
And I said, we're talking about that one video where it's the black and white of Mickey's earliest videos where you see him working in a factory with some cheese and he's taking the cheese and he's rubbing his penis on it, making the holes in it. It was always supposed to be sexual perversion over that. And that poor Disney Channel, how many stars out of Disney have been sexually abused, or they come out to all the pedophilia that's rampant behind the scenes?
Yeah, it is. I think it's one of those it's one of those networks and channels and institutions that is used as a way to traffic children through it. If you look at some of these stories of these kids coming up who were child stars, even the Olsen twins,
Britney Spears,
Aaron Carter,
Justin Timberlake,
all of them, right? Even Orlando Brown, if you look at him in That's So Raven, we see these shows as very wholesome. You see these characters come in, they're trying to make you laugh, they're happy and everything, but behind the closed doors, they are going through so much pain just for the sake of fame. So I think one of the things that Disney promises that if you are trying to become famous, if you're trying to become popular in anything, you better get with the crowd, right? And it's just not boy, girl type of sexual perversion. Like, these are like, there's a lot of homosexuality in this.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this from a place of fact and speculation, because I haven't really seen it behind closed doors, but there's a lot of people who come out and said, listen, what happened behind closed doors, you don't even want to know what happened. Like, the type of pain I went through, they're never the same, right? So the whole Disney machine and propaganda isn't what we think it is, and it's never been what we think it is. But it's so hard to remove our children from it because it's the only source of entertainment
Yeah,
to offer them.
well, because we assume things are wholesome and you don't realize the subliminal stuff
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
But why is that? And why has Disney become this thing where now it's ridiculously woke and all this, and it's and now unless you have some sort of woke characters that they won't even put it on the TV. It's like what happened to traditional values, all that stuff is gone to the wayside.
Yeah.
But my belief is that it's part of the indoctrination process. It's part of who Disney was. So who was Walt Disney, right? Like really, like, and for most people don't realize Walt Disney was a 33-degree Freemason.
For those who don't know what a 33-degree Freemason, DC, what is that?
So Freemason is like a brotherhood, they call it. It was supposed to be a secret society.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be on the surface, it looks like, just men getting together and helping each other out, like a brotherhood. And depending on certain, you can get to certain levels.
It's like a frat?
It's kind of like a frat house kind of like stuff. But then it was always supposed to be secret. No one's supposed to know about it. They had certain handshakes. All the presidents have all been part of this, or every single person at NASA, every astronaut at NASA has,
And a Freemason.
And a Freemason, you have to be. So what is the problem with that? Well, if you're a Christian, you're like, well, first of all, Jesus always said, I don't do anything in secret, right? So if there's any knowledge, it should be out right in front of you, right? I don't put a candlestick underneath the bushel and allow it to burn, right? It just doesn't make sense. So what is the problem with 33 group Freemason? What does 33 mean? Well, if you've read enough conspiracy stuff that we've been through, it's not even conspiracy. There are manuals out there which you can get online now. And in the beginning, if you joined this brotherhood, it was basically if you let out any of the secrets, there is a way for them. You're signing your own death warrant. The secrets they have in these societies and if they're leaked, are punishable by death. That tells you right there that this is not a good society to be in. The 33, the last 2 degrees are apparently they're honorary degrees, but you can't get to past a certain level. I believe it's the 12th level of Freemasonry, unless, again, this is the traditional one. Now they're more of symbolic, but there was a point where there's, if you watch these documentaries, the guy said there's one guy who was becoming a Freemason. And he had to spit on a cross, denounce the Lord Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. Otherwise, and hoodwink, they put a hood on you and put like this noose around your neck and make you do all these things. We just heard that, I won't say her name, but somebody was just telling us that her father-in-law was part of this and had to murder somebody to be part of it. Like there's all this negativity behind it. Now, we know a bunch of Freemasons and we're like, oh, no, it's not all that. Are they saying that it's not like that at all because, that was just the past, or that's all folklore and all this stuff? Or are they just protecting somebody? I believe they are protecting it. And like the ones that know really know. So in order to be part of this Freemasonry, the real Freemasonry, you have to basically spit on a cross, denounce the Lord, and it's a satanic order. Now, this is not my conjuncture. This is what I've read, right? So the certain things you have to do, like include some of them murder, believe it or not, right? And who was it? Was it Mozart or Beethoven? Which one? He was a Freemason, and he and he was killed, and they wouldn't allow anybody to go to his funeral. The only one who went to his funeral was his dog. I can't remember which one of the musicians it was, because he was part of this order, and he let people know that he was in this order, and they basically got rid of him. It was pretty bad. So any association with this, with the Freemasons, tells you right there, get the hell away from me, right? Is it also the Friars too? The ones with the red hats? What are they called?
Friars Club.
Friars Club. They're also part of it too.
Yeah.
Well, then there's also the Jesuit order. They're all part of it too. So when you go into a Masonic lodge, they're basically they only have 3 different types of religious books on the table. It's either a Bible, a Quran, or the Torah. But in secret, they only have 1 book. So if it's people because there's ones for show. But if you are at this high level and you're actually behind doors and you're in the know, because you remember, you have to know that, they use the Quran. And why? Why do you think they use the Quran as their religious book of choice for the Masonic Lodge?
I generally don't know.
Isaac, do you have an idea? Yeah. So the Quran is the only religious text that directly denounces the Lord Jesus Christ as just a prophet, as just a man. So they're taking away the godship from Jesus. And it blatantly says, oh, he's just a prophet. So they are removing his godship. It's the only one that removes his godship.
Wow.
So basically that's why they use that as their book, right? So this is who this man was, right? And there's also secret societies, which all the presidents are part of, and there's Bohemian Grove. What the hell was his name? The one he just got charged with the Sandy Hook stuff with all the $1 billion. What's his name? Jones. What's his name?
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. So Alex Jones, I got into Alex Jones and knowing who he was when I first got into conspiracy theories. He was one of the few guys who went to Bohemian Grove, right? You see
he
that?
saw this.
He saw this, and he recorded
he
Bohemian
recorded.
Grove, and they were doing sacrifices and stuff too. And they say it was all for show, but it's like they're all connected.
What do you mean it's for show? Like, how do you set all that up and then do it for show? Like, come on, man.
We're not that stupid, right? We're not that. So there are people that don't believe this stuff. Actually, like, oh no, who would ever do that? Or they're just doing it for fun. It's like, come on, people. Like, these people believe this.
They see that as a playtime.
Right. Like there's Skull and Bones, in which, the Bushes were involved and the Clintons and all that. Like there's all these secret societies that happen. Yeah. And you have to get to do these initiations and have to be part of this. And some of it is sexual perversion. So in the Bohemian Grove, reason why I'm bringing that up, there was the R word happening. And then Release doesn't like me using that word. Forcing people sexually upon each other. Children's, also with children, pedophilia.
Even infants.
I've heard there's sacrifices happening. There are burning to their god Moloch, which is in the Bohemian Grove, which was child sacrifice. And they're saying, oh, no, we're doing all this symbolism. But apparently there's some people, if you do enough research on it, they're saying it actually is happening. Well, Walt Disney was part of this, was all part of this, right? There are some affiliations with, Elisa saying is being debunked that he was part of the Nazi war, which I think it's actually true, because what happened with the war with Germany, there's people saying that the Germans didn't lose the Second World War. They just brought all their scientists over. It was part of the peace treaty, which they had, and they all worked for NASA. They created NASA, which I can go off on NASA, but there's actually pictures of the former war generals with Walt Disney together. There is nothing nice about this whole situation. This is showing you the character. I'm showing who the character he was. There was many talks of how much pedophilia was happening behind the scenes, and about Walt Disney and stuff. And it's just, so it doesn't surprise me to this day that they're a woke company and they're allowing all this wokeness happening, because they're trying to push their agenda. It wouldn't be surprised if you have a video talking about Mambala, Men and Boys Alliance of America, come forth and say that's the pedophile ring, in which they're trying to say it's just a sexual orientation. It's not. It should be perverse. Which we've had a talk on pedophilia, where my feelings on that are. There's no way. Come near my kid. My kids aren't even. I guess it would be pedophile. They're 12 and 14 now. You go near my daughter, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'll chop your balls off. As a Christian, I will do time. I may not kill you, but I will definitely maim you. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense. But once you're digging behind who the princesses were, all these disorders they have, all of this subliminal stuff happening, talking about the sexual abuse that happens in Nickelodeon and what Nickelodeon means and how they're trying to push down, everything has a meaning behind it. And they're just this large conglomerate, and everyone thinks that they're so wholesome and nice. There's nothing nice about Disney. There's nothing nice about Walt. And now he's sitting in a tomb somewhere, supposed to be frozen and waiting for his coming back. Yeah, let's see if that happens.
I also feel like Disney has really shifted the way we view each other as of late, right? One of the key things that they're really trying to flip the traditional values as we've known them. Man, woman, Christian.
How dare you?
Hey, how dare you, right?
How dare you? Have you noticed on TV, there's no traditional stuff. There's no, even in commercials, you don't see white people. No, I'm listen, technically I'm not white because we're European. We're not allowed. If you go to the KKK, we're not white, right?
Yeah.
And I would brought this up to some of my friends too. There's more lynchings of Italians in the U.S. than there was of any other race. And I was like, we were not seen as white people, and the KKK lynched us. So anyway, I can say this, but there's no it's weird to see that there's no straight people or white people or even like traditional black families together. That's like you used to see a black family together. You don't even see that. Everything has to be mixed race, right? Everything has to be mixed orientation. It's not why? Like why can't once in a while? I'd love to see a commercial, just the whole black family just come out, and meet a whole white family and like, hey, we're neighbors. Let's go, like, because that actually happens.
It actually happens. You know what I'm saying? So even like when you watch like ESPN, have you noticed how ESPN is now like so watered down?
Oh,
like they're not even reporting sports anymore. It's like a all women panel, and like it's
all like some of it's about fashion and stuff too.
it's
Look at so and so's wearing.
right. Everything is about race now. Like I get it. Like race has its place in certain things, but it's become like a tool to discount certain things and certain accomplishments for some people. Like everything is now in the name of sexuality. It's in the name of race. It's in the name of transgenderism and everything like that. I think what Disney is trying to do, they're trying to have a culture change all over, right? From the movies they make. Even if you see the movies that they make, like Wakanda, Woman is King, everything is about, my theory is this, everything is about changing
And they've started a long time ago.
yeah, the power structure is to erase the man out of everything. They're trying to. There's a lot of women worshiping in this. And guys, listen, I get it. Like, put women in power, put everything like that, but it's at the place of erasing masculinity, right? Even if I watch these sports shows like First Take and everything, these guys can't be guys anymore, right? Everything has to be so coddled now.
Well, they take like the manliest men
And make them
and
look
make
like,
them they put them in
pussies.
dress. Like I'm just like Googling right here. I forget the movie where Hulk Hogan. I was watching the McMahon's there, like the whole thing, the WWE and how everything went down. And I forgot that Hulk had left and became like this star, because I remember The Rock as the Tooth Fairy. Remember the movie The Tooth Fairy, which I'm pretty sure was done by Disney, and he had to wear a tutu and I think too, and like they're emasculating him. The Rock, bigger than life. John Cena, of course, that latest movie where John Cena was like, it seems like all wrestlers. Hulk Hogan started this trend. I forget this movie, Hulk Hogan's 5 best films. Yeah, like as if he had 5 best films. But there was this one, I'm trying to see the name of it, but I remember that too. I remember watching this movie and going, what the hell, man? Like, why is he wearing a dress? And I know that they do it too. It's part of, Mr. Nanny, that's what it's called. It was part of the humiliation process. And I know they do it to a lot of the black comedians. We've talked before how they did it to, Kevin Hart. They've done that too. They've done it to The Rock. We've already seen it with LeBron James, although that gets into Diddy stuff. And that's a different story. But they've always been emasculating them too. But that's their sexual preferences, right? Like we know the Hollywood's already, it's not even pedophilia, it's homosexual. People said that over and over again. What we don't see behind it, if you saw what's happening behind the scenes, you'd be disgusted.
Yeah.
And the amount what Corey Feldman came out and he said how much pedophilia was happening. Like nobody did shit. They're like, they already know about it. So no one's doing anything about it. So when Disney's coming out, they're trying to bring what's happening behind the scenes come to life. And how they do that, they're getting to our children. Very, very young age. Explain to me why we need to have drag queens in front of children all the time. You can go do it as a senior citizen. You don't see them going to senior citizen homes. No, because they're not trying to indoctrinate, because the senior citizens tell them will go fuck themselves. But why? If you get into the kids, it becomes acceptable.
Yeah.
So if they're having subliminal messages, which I think this is one of the reasons why Disney does this, it all goes back to their founder, who this man was. He wasn't a good man. There's many, many accounts. He was not a good man. So even his name and the 666 is across in Walt Disney. And when they sees on that floor, like if you haven't seen the video, maybe you put a B-roll over this, show how the 666 shows up in there too.
Yeah.
Right? In front of it, right? It just, and he's making his own castle. Like he's the head of the castle, or the king of the world. He's showing who his allegiance is right there. He was not a good man. So it's not a surprise to me that he's indoctrinating children, even beyond the grave to this day.
Yeah, and it's taken, and you see how it's taken over now, right? And we've spoken a lot about this over like maybe 3-4 episodes over the DC Talks pods we've done. How it's all about a power grab more so. It's all about a institutional change more so. The education level, what you see, what you hear, what you talk about, what you cannot talk about. Disney doesn't get spoken enough about how involved they are in each stage of these different aspects of our lives. They're trying to destroy the church overall.
Yep.
They're trying to destroy the man overall. They're trying to make you feel that you celebrating who you are as a guy, or even being a little boy,
But
is
again,
toxic.
why are they coming after men?
Because
Well, let me put it this way. Why are they coming after families, like traditional families, not just men? They're going after traditional families. Why?
because they want it to be woman, being the parents of the house.
No. They're going after, because usually in the household, and I'm just saying in general household, I'm saying they're attacking families for a reason.
Of course.
It's easier to, once you divide and conquer, it's easier to them to conquer us.
To conquer, exactly.
If you don't think that Disney has a hand in all the propaganda that happens in the US, you really, really got to do your own digging. I've had some conversations with my friends who, they don't want to believe any of the stuff we talk about on the show. They didn't want to believe that 9/11 happened. They didn't want to believe that the moon landing was fake. They didn't want to believe, even think of the possibility that the earth may not be round. They didn't want to look into the idea that, that any of the stuff that were actually happening, that the U.S. government has a part of it, where they're being controlled by somebody else. Mm-hmm. They don't want to look at that. They don't want to look who BlackRock is or Vanguard. They don't want to look. They're saying, how dare you? Like the American people are for themselves. I'm like, do you realize all the American presidents are puppets? Mm-hmm. And they're some of the conglomerates that are paying their pockets are helping line this stuff. It's like, you don't get it. Like I remember watching Candace Owens. She's like, if you don't believe in conspiracy theories by now, you're just not smart.
Yeah. And
I said that to the buddy that I was arguing with. I'm like, sorry, I didn't say it, she did. But it's the same thing as anything else. Like, do your research. No, we're talking about satanic stuff and in Disney, a lot of stuff too. All you need to do, I'm literally on my computer right now. Go in there, type Disney satanic and see what pops up. And people are like, why does Disney put satanic symbols in their movies? Help stop satanic Disney. Mm-hmm. There's multiple places where people have recognized that Disney is satanic. It's not just me and Owen saying that this company is satanic. They're over and over. And if you don't think that Walt Disney is a Freemason, there's the 33 Club, 33 degree Freemason. 33 is prevalent and all that. And there's also the video talking about how don't believe in the news sources.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden there's 33 victims. Everything, the number 33. Oh shit, I'm doing a satanic symbol right now. Sorry, I didn't mean to do the 666. Okay. 33, let me do it that way. If you now listen, you guys are woke, not woke. That's not it. Your eyes are open. Anytime now that you're watching news, look how many times they used the number 33. Mm-hmm. And many, many reasons behind that. But when it comes to witches and things like that, 33 has a powerful number with the number 3. If you repeat things 3 times, like Beetlejuice, right? There's spells. And I mean, the number 3 has a powerful number behind it. And that's why the 33 degree Freemasons is a big, powerful thing. If you don't know who Alan Pike is, he was he wrote that book about the Freemasons Bible, I guess, their own Bible, and he talks about it. I think Aleister Crowley the demon was also a Freemason, I believe, as well. But Alan Pike wrote what to do. And like, if you don't believe what's happening behind the Masonic order, this book was supposed to be secret for life. And people have they published it, I don't know what's happened to them. And it's like, the stuff that you can read in this book, I've only read it in snippets because it's so demonic. Yeah. Like the stuff that they're supposed to do, buddy. As soon as you read anything, I'm saying, why would you associate it with this stuff? Like, you don't even have to be a Christian. Like, dude, what are you doing? I've seen some of my buddies from high school that have the 30, they have the Mason ring on and they're proud they're showing it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Like, I can just read one snippet and I don't like the argument of like, wow, that's all folklore. I'm like, the guy that helped create the Bible for you, whatever you call it, their guide, whatever it is, believed in this stuff. And everybody else believes in this stuff too. It's like associating yourself with some order which has a bad apple, which it covers the whole community. Mm-hmm. You can't take that part out and say, well, it's only folklore. It's like, well, that's what most people believe. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just drives me nuts. I don't understand why people keep they choose to keep their heads in the sand.
The reason, have you watched the movie The Matrix?
Which one? I just didn't watch the last one. Yeah, of course.
Number 1, right? Remember when Neo is...
he's supposed to be the new Jesus, right?
What? The new Jesus?
Neo. That's what it's supposed to be. Neo.
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't know that.
The creator, she was the creator of the Terminator, and Neo is supposed to be the next. So she talks about how they actually work together.
Oh, I didn't.
The Matrix, yeah, they're two movies they're supposed to be like sequels of each other.
Oh.
And Neo is supposed to be the new Jesus, how he dies, and like that's where he stops the bullets, like him coming back to life. Like it's supposed to be the new God, which is sacrilege itself. But anyway,
I was not.
Anyway,
informed on
sorry, where are you going with that?
No, what I was trying to say is that there is a part of the movie where Neo takes, I forgot Keanu Reeves' character again.
Neo.
No, I mean Neo, but the black guy.
Oh, the black. Oh, Morpheus.
Morpheus. So Morpheus is taking Neo. They kind of come into the city, and you're seeing everybody walking down the street. Like everyone's going to work. You see the firemen, you see the police, and everything like that. And he says, all these people are part of the Matrix. If you say something, and you know what the Matrix is, the Matrix exists in your mind. It's not really this physical. It's the stuff that you've been taught, the stuff that you know, the stuff you believe. And if you try and say something that goes against that belief, the Matrix comes out. That's why when you tell people, hey, you know, Disney has a lot of pedophilia. Like, what are you talking about? Disney's wholesome.
The reason why I had this topic, it was yesterday. I was doing showing properties, and we were talking about Disney, and I'm like, you know, it's all a pedophile ring. And she was just like, oh my God, Dave, don't even start talking about that. She has two young boys, and I was like, two twins, and I'm like, listen, I've watched all the movies too, and I'm like, my girls actually, thank God they didn't like well, other than Frozen. I was like, you know, we learned early on. I was like, and we're watching some of this shit. Watch these movies with your kids, guys. That's the other thing. If you want to watch Disney's, like some of the themes they have there too are not great. Like it's like, so don't just throw a movie on. You should never do this anyway. But they're impressionable kids. Oh, I can't say shit. My kids watch South Park. They watched the whole fucking, series of South Park in 2 weeks.
I know.
Oh my God. But again, that says a lot. Like that's my bad parenting right there. But
she was like, I love South Park.
I know. Well, my kids are going up for Halloween. They're a Christian going out for Halloween. I know. Don't even come at me. But what I'm saying is, like, especially at an impressionable age, when they're really young, don't throw in a Disney movie thinking everything is fine. Granted, there are some good, wholesome, things that happen on there too. But look at, like, for example, Shrek. Remember when, I think it was like the gingerbread, when he's getting like touches, he's like doing sexual. There's so much sexual innuendos, and they say they put that in there for the parents. You're telling kids they're already showing them sexual shit that is happening at a very young age. So be careful. That's all I'm saying. Disney is not what you think.
They're not your friend. They're not your friend. And that's why even I noticed too, like when I was at my friend's cottage in Muskoka, and the moon was very close to us. Like, especially like when you're on the water and you see the moon, I'm like, I looked to one of my buddies. I'm like, you see those craters? That's actually it's a reflection of all the Earth's continents that you can't even see. Yep. They're like, what do you? And immediately when I said that, we're at DC. You know how you and I just talking right now?
Yeah.
He immediately just froze up. He's like, what are you talking about? Wait, those are craters. I'm like, bro, that's actually the moon. You can't even land on it. That's not even a rock.
Those conversations, I just stopped talking.
And that's what I mean with the Matrix. Like the programming of everything now is just.
Well, look what happened on our talk about the flat Earth. We didn't even say anything about it, and people went nuts saying that we're crazy.
And they haven't even challenged their own. And this is what I told my friends. I'm like, guys, look, you guys can get on me right now, but just look at what you guys are saying right now. Look at how you're talking. Who told you to think like that? Who told you to say that? Why do you defend this when you haven't even seen it or even questioned why you believe? Why do you believe what you believe?
Here's the funny thing is that we've always told, and according to the Bible as well, we've told, like, God told us to question people. Be inquisitive. When he talks about, like, if somebody says they're of God, question them, though. Test them. When did that stop? When did that become, oh, no, you're not allowed to do that. You must bow down and obey. Even God gave us free will for a reason. He gave us a choice. So explain to me why, because you're telling me something, like, and here's indefutable proof. I'm like, really? Like, I don't understand. I don't get. So I question everything. And you can call me an idiot for even, like, which is fine. You can do that. Call me names and stuff because I question stuff, and I will ask you questions about it because I want to know. I had another argument when I was way in South Carolina with this female. I already knew her side of stuff when she came on political debate. And I told her what I didn't like about both of the candidates. Yeah. And I literally turned to her, I'm like, so what do you like about Kamala Harris? Because I knew that was who she liked. And I said, but don't use race and don't use gender. She went nuts. She couldn't answer the question. And again, I'm not saying that everyone, I'm like, listen, I'm like, And one of my buddies who's left wing, he's like, she missed an opportunity. I'm like, I know. I'm like, listen, I just want to know what you like about it without using those two things. And I'm like, because maybe I learn something. I'm Canadian. I don't give a shit what's happening. I do care about the US, but I don't care. Like, I don't have an affiliation. I'm not going to vote. So from an outsider, here's what I'm seeing from Canada, what I don't like about this one, I don't like about this. But you really have liked this one. And explain. And like, I was called names. I was yelled at. I'm going to rip it. I'm like, okay, that's it. So anyway, my point is,
You just exited the conversation.
I said, okay. And then even my buddy goes, yeah. I'm like, I can tell you what I like about her. And I can tell you what I don't like about her. I could do the same thing for Donald Trump. But at least I could tell you positives without getting upset.
Yeah, when you question them,
But
they
I
get
told
so
something
upset.
positive. I said, give me the positive. I didn't say what you don't like. I didn't knock down.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was
Everything is to like go against because they just don't like Trump. There's even like a conversation. This guy goes around schools in America asking them, what do you think is so wrong about white men? This is the conversation, and they're like saying because they run
and we don't.
they
Actually,
hold us back. They hold us back from getting opportunities or something like that, or they pass laws or something. So the guy's okay. What has this white guy boogeyman ideology? What opportunities have you not gotten from them being in front of you? And they get so flustered. They get extremely flustered. They're like, well, like we gotta go. Like, but
they have no answer.
They have no answer.
Well, the other thing is, and we have to go on this, but it's like, it's funny because they talk about white privilege, but they ran a number of, like, ran this study. I think there's more Asians that are running companies than there are whites.
And
they're
even
there-
Indians, too.
And Indians. And they're like, so the white man is like, actually CEO is like a small portion. I'm like, and they don't know how to answer that one either.
No. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. It's a power grab. It's a way to hold leverage. And the more you continue this perpetuating of like this boogeyman is in front of us,
It's a false narrative.
it's a false narrative, and it's a money grab in every kind of way, because without it, like, you're not really having a cause to advance yourself, because you need that leverage to get ahead. And this is across every race, women, men, UDC, as I said before, according to them, you're a threat. Like,
I'm a threat, guys.
You're a
We're
threat.
going to end on that.
You're a threat.
So DC is a threat to your
DC's
life. All I'm trying to do is help and bring Jesus into your life, and I'm a threat. So
Yeah.
on that note,
upon appearance, you're a threat. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We went so many different places over this, but the nucleus of it all is like Disney is at the heart of everything that we do. But we'd love to get your thoughts on this in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share your thoughts in the clips on TikTok or on Instagram. And ultimately, any real estate questions, if you're in the GTA and you want to get a great realtor, DC's over here to help you out.
thanks for the plug, buddy. Appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. It is.
I forget that's what we do this, right?
Yeah. And we'll certainly see you next week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.